They are quite credible to an extent.
Yeah,
So yeah, they dropped news today at 5 p.m. saying
yeah.
that senior players in the Man United squad are expecting news that Amorim is going to be sacked.
Mm.
So when they want to do it, is that next international window in October.
Yeah, yeah.
So that's
October.
when
Yeah.
he's expected to be sacked, and that's when the new coach is expected to come in. So the question is, which coach now?
Mhm.
And let me remind you that sometime last year, Mourinho was at a like a it was a pre-match conference, right? And he was being asked questions, obviously. And one of the
Yeah,
questions that was asked to him was, what would he do next after
yeah,
Fenerbahce? And he
yeah,
said that he wants to go to a Premier League club that is not playing European football.
yeah,
That's what he said.
yeah.
So, so you know, hey,
No,
you
but
never
no,
know.
when no, I've seen the short list of
Mm,
the player of the managers. We have
mm,
Oliver Glasner, someone
yeah.
I admire. Lawrence's guy, Adoni Iraola, Marco
Mm,
Silva, my
yeah.
guy, Sir Gareth Southgate, and Mauricio
Yo,
Pochettino.
that's a good shout. You know the funny thing, I would prefer Southgate to Pochettino
I've been South.
because yeah, I would 100% Southgate over Pochettino because at least we've
Mhm.
seen Southgate go into two finals with England. But
Yep,
with Pochettino, I don't know. Pochettino has never won a trophy except when he was at
exactly,
PSG. Except when he was at
exactly.
PSG. And look, with all due respect to PSG,
Anybody, me and you can go
the
and do
French league
something
is what
here with
it
that
is.
with that squad. Yeah,
Exactly, exactly. So the funny thing was that they didn't even win League On. That's the
yeah,
funny thing when Pochettino was there. So,
yeah,
but they
yeah,
won Trophée des Champions, Trophée Club,
yeah,
whatever,
and those
whatever.
other
So
small, small
yeah,
trophies.
exactly. So I prefer Southgate because first of all, he's English.
Yeah,
Um, he's somebody who understands systemic play. He follows the process.
mm,
So for me, yeah, I think Southgate will be the perfect fit. But let's not forget Andoni Iraola as well.
yeah,
Look, he's a top manager. Bournemouth basically lost the huge chunk of their back four, at least 3 out of 4. From last season. Dean Huijsen left to Madrid. Milos Kerkesh left to
perfect.
Liverpool.
Liverpool.
Zabani went to Paris Saint-Germain. And hey, guess
Yep.
what? They've won 3 out of 4 games and they are fourth place on the EPL table. So that goes to
Mhm.
show you that he's doing something right. And
He's
what
adapting,
about
he's changing things
yeah,
and improving his
exactly.
team.
And then what about player development? Solanke developed under him, and then
Yep.
look at Antoine Semenyo currently. He's the new X factor for Bournemouth, and I'm very sure that Semenyo is not going to be at Bournemouth come next season.
Mhm.
So Iraola too is another good manager that has a very good system of football that I think will actually complement the United players at the moment.
Yeah.
So let's see what will happen.
To be honest with me, I don't mind any of them. That's why I said I don't mind whether
As
even
far
if
as
it's
Amorim is
Pochettino.
not there,
Bro, Amorim is giving me headache. Amorim has literally gone against the guys that designed, that pitch, that football pitch, the people that designed it, whoever
mm,
designed it, they had the basics in mind. Amorim
yeah,
has gone away from the basics.
exactly.
Amorim's style is not supposed to be played on that design, on that pitch, that design. No,
Yeah.
it's for another design, sir. Sorry. What you're doing, what you're trying to do in the Prem. Yeah, I know it
Mm,
has worked. Anyway, this is just me criticizing him. He's worked, it happened for him in Lisbon, right? Fair enough. I
mhm,
understand your philosophy or your idea might be the best. It might just be the best in football,
mm,
but with the right players. If you have the right players, you might win everything.
mhm,
Champions League, FA Cup, everything you can do it.
mm.
But
True.
once you see that you don't have the right players, then you just have to adapt. That is what everybody is saying. I don't understand how you'd come to a league and literally show the whole league your plans.
Mm,
You've come in and
mm,
said, I'm not going to change. This is the system I want to play. Everybody now
mm.
knows what they're expecting. If you're going to
Exactly.
play against Crystal Palace or even um, Tottenham now with Thomas Frank, trust
Mm,
me, you have no clue what system they are coming out with.
exactly.
while you're preparing your team, you're also thinking you have a double mind. You don't know. But any team that is coming out to play Manchester United right now, they know exactly in detail what is going to happen. The only difference in terms of the formation, the shape, but in terms of the personnel, that is when you might. But even the personnel, you can easily guess. In Manchester United's team right now, there are only two players that are playing in their positions. That's the goalkeeper and the striker. Before we carry on, guys, welcome to the Playmakers Hub. This is the very first edition or very first episode of the Pitch Side Nugget, exclusively brought to you by our one and only sports journalist, Adebari. He's very sound with football analysis and sports correspondence in general. So this is where you get the best breakdown of your football news and different sports. So yes, Barry, you're gonna say something, and I'm happy to start this with you, honestly. And I wish you more growth and success in your career, bro.
Amen, amen. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you for the platform as well. Thank
come
you
on, man.
Yeah, for real, because the Playmakers Hub has grown so much, and it's a pleasure to be a member of the pod. So yes, to get to do this with you.
It's all you guys, man. It's all everyone. Big shout out to everyone, man.
Definitely. So it's a pleasure to be here. So for me, I'll be honest with you. I honestly did not think that Amorim would be a failure at Manchester United. I honestly did not think so, because I actually did not think that he would come to United and immediately want to switch to a three at the back as he had done. Considering the fact that he came in quite early in the season. I'm not even going to say mid-season. He came in even before January, if I'm not mistaken, right?
Yeah, it was November.
And then, November, and then he came in immediately and just wanted to switch things up immediately. And I thought to myself that, okay, United have a couple of good players, and I do believe that as professionals, you would find a way to thrive in any system you are in, right? However, it is quite clear that the way Amorim wants to implement his 3-5-2 or 3-4-3, as the case may be, is quite different, and or not that it's even quite different, he's quite specific in the way he wants to play the football. It's only one way.
Yeah.
So the problem is that in that one way, there are only specific players tailor-made to that type of football.
Yeah.
Exactly. Now, that's one factor. The second factor for me is the fact that I do not think that United actually went ahead to get the best quality players in those positions. Take, for example...
Really?
Yes, I honestly don't think so. Take, for example, Patrick Dogu.
Yeah.
Patrick Dogu is a decent player, but I don't think he's the best left wing back out there.
Left wing back,
that's just the truth. For me, there's a drop in quality when it comes to Dogu playing in that position. And I can understand why Dogu plays so much. It's due to, the energy, the work rate, and the fact that he's also left-footed. That's one aspect, right? And then again, I think the fact that United have lacked a striker that can do it all on his own. If United had a Gabriel Jesus in this system, I think it would have worked well. If your system is this is not my quote is not verbatim, but it's similar to what he said. And Mourinho basically said that, look, if your system is going to be the reason why you're going to be out of a job, if your system is going to be the reason why you're going to be losing games, then you're a fool. That's what he said. You're a fool. Because as a top manager, I believe you do need to know when and when not to change your system. Let's talk about top managers that have changed their systems or needed to change their system. The first person I would call is let me start with Ferguson. We all know that in the mid-90s towards the early 2000s.
Early 2000s, yeah.
It was a 4-4-2.
Yes.
That was what it was always going to be for Sir Alex. But as from 2002, he started experimenting with a 4-2-3-1 because he saw that sometimes whenever United was, especially after 99, he saw that United competing against the European big boys, United found it difficult. In fact, United were being schooled in Europe. And it was a problem because these other teams are advancing in the way they want to play their football. There are teams playing a 3-5-2, playing a three
Yeah.
four three, playing a 4-3-3.
Yeah.
So Sir
Having
Alex
three
started to
midfield players. So you.
exactly.
Mm.
Exactly. So there were some times where, look, eventually towards the end of Sir Alex's career, he even experimented with a proper 4-3-3, where you have a single DM and you have two number eights. He did that
Yeah.
a couple of times, especially in the
Towards the
Champions League.
end of Ryan Giggs' career, he was that third midfield player.
Exactly. So,
Mm.
Fergie did that. Arsene Wenger as well. Arsene Wenger has gone from 4-4-2 to 4-2-3-1 to 4-3-3 to three at
Yeah.
the back. As
Yeah.
Wenger towards the last 4 years of his career at Arsenal, he was
He
experimenting with three at
experimented.
the back a lot because certain games require certain players, certain
Yes.
games require certain systems. That's
Yeah.
just the truth. So Fergie, Wenger, let's say that is old school. Let's talk about
Yeah.
new school. Antonio Conte. Conte, first of all, when he got to Juventus, he maintained the 4-4-2 that those players were accustomed to.
Yeah.
After the first 3 months, he saw that, look, we are
This
finding it
isn't what.
difficult to win games back to back.
Mm.
Also, he could see that there was general inconsistency in the league at that time. This I'm
Yeah.
talking about the 2010-2011 season, and he saw that there was an opportunity for Juventus to possibly win the Scudetto for the first time since they got relegated to Serie D.
Mm.
Immediately he changed to a three at the back system, and that began Conte's reign with Juventus for what 5 years.
Mm.
When Conte came to Chelsea as well, because of the way Chelsea had been successful over the years without him being there, he maintained their 4-3-3 system, or rather their 4-2-3-1 system. But
Mm.
hey, after a 3-0 hammering by their London rivals Arsenal, sometime in it
Yeah.
was December, he said, "Look, I'm here to compete to win this title. I'm a winner. I'm not going to go out, you know, with my tail behind my leg." And look,
Yeah.
he switched to his preferred three at the back. Thankfully, that gave Victor, our own very own Victor Moses, a chance in the Chelsea team finally.
Yeah.
So these are examples of great coaches. One thing common with all these coaches that I've mentioned, they are all successful. They have won trophies. But
Mm-hmm.
you, Amorim, with all due respect to you, you're coming from the Portuguese league, but you're not really in that upper echelon of managers who have done it. And what am I even talking about? The only reference is Jose Mourinho. The only reference is Jose Mourinho. When Villas Boas
Yeah.
did it in Portugal, when he came to England, it was difficult for him. He couldn't
Yeah.
replicate what he did in Portugal. You get what
Yeah.
I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
with Amorim, I think probably thinks too much of himself and feels that, look, it's my way or the highway. And I don't
Yeah.
think it's earned enough for him to have that type of mentality. It's good to be confident in yourself. It's good to be confident in your ability, but
Yeah.
you need to know
I'm
when to
just.
call
I'm
it
just.
quits. You need to know when to be humble.
Yeah.
You need to know when to learn
Yeah.
as well.
I'm just gonna ask you this one, right? As an Arsenal fan, was Arteta this bad? Did he get this bad with Arteta? In terms of, I know there's always that start where you guys had lost 9 in 10, and the one game you won was against United, and then I think you later on won against Chelsea. So there were even two big games that you won
Hmm.
and lost to the likes of Leicester, Everton. So was it this bad? Did it get to a point where Arsenal fans didn't like what he was doing, or even while you were losing, you could see that it's actually not bad? Because when I looked at the scoreline, the only game that you lost massively was Aston Villa, 3-1 to Aston Villa. The rest was 2-1, 1-0, then a couple of draws. So it wasn't terrible. And I don't think you were losing to Grimsby. Yeah.
No. Honestly, we were not. In fact, I think we were even doing better in the cups because obviously his first season we won the FA Cup. The next season, I know that we did get knocked out in the third round. But just to pretty much answer your question, to be straightforward, it wasn't this bad. One thing that was obvious that Arsenal fans could see was that Ateta had a style and a philosophy that he wanted to play, but we didn't have those quality players. We did not. So, in fact, we started to play in a safe way from the get go. For me, I think we were even playing a 4-4-1-1. That's what we were playing. I'm not even going to call it a 4-2-3-1.
Yeah.
But let me remind you also that when Ateta did take over, right? That
Yeah.
I believe it was what it was like September ending
2019.
October.
Yeah.
We had to play with a three at the back
Mm.
for the remainder of the season. Yeah, we had to play with
Yeah.
a three at the back because we had centre backs that were giving us issues. Their
Yeah.
individual quality was absolutely terrible. So what did Ateta do? He switched to a five at the back. We did not
Mm.
play three at the back. We
Yeah. It was
played
like full on
five.
five.
We played 5-2-3.
Yeah.
And what did that system do for Arteta at that time? It helped him to curb individual errors because Shkodran Mustafi,
Yeah.
Socrates Papastopoulos, and David
Yeah.
Luiz at that time, they
Yeah.
wanted to end Arsenal. That's the best way to put it. They wanted to end Arsenal, and Lucas Torreira found it difficult to really play games consistently because he could not compete physically. That's just the truth. And obviously, we had better um, all-rounded midfielders that could thrive in that system as compared to Torreira. So we had Granit Xhaka, and sometimes it's either the young Joe Willock beside
Mm.
Xhaka or Dani Ceballos at that time. So
Mm.
aside curbing individual errors, that system helped him to create a balance between defense and attack. Arsenal
Mm.
stopped playing end-to-end games because those
Mm.
end-to-end games did not work well for us. We
Yeah.
were always conceding goals. So
Mm.
the first thing he did was to steady the ship. And that is what I expected from Amorim when Amorim came in his first season.
Mm.
I expected him to steady the ship before you then bring in your own philosophy. Now, let's go to the next season for Arteta. Arsenal at that time had not finished paying off the loan for the Emirates Stadium. So we were not so liquid that we could spend money on big name players.
Players.
So
Mm.
Arteta and Edu tried to get um, good players, but good players that came at
Affordable.
economical prices,
Mm.
affordable prices. But one of the issues was that some of these players had never played English football before, and some of these players found it difficult to adapt immediately. I'm talking about players like Nuno Tavares. I'm talking about
Yeah.
players like Pablo Mari. You know, it was
Yeah.
a bit
Guendouzi,
difficult for
was it
them.
when you signed Guendouzi, or it was even before? Okay, no, I think Guendouzi was when I
Guendouzi
ended.
was Yeah, so Guendouzi was part of the team just for the first season Ateta took over.
Mm.
From the summer break that we had, Guendouzi and Ateta fell out. So
Yeah.
Guendouzi did not stay through the next season. So it did take time for some of these players to gel and to play the type of football that Ateta wanted to play. I remember that we lost our first 3 games of Ateta's
Mm.
first full season. The
Yeah.
third game that we lost was away to Manchester City at the Etihad. I believe it was a 5-0
Yeah.
thrashing. But hey, after the international break, there was time for those players to work
Work
better
together.
together. The first game against Norwich, they won. So from then on, Ateta started to build, and then the better Arsenal was doing in terms of finishing higher up in the table, more money was coming in, and he started to recruit more players, more quality players that could bring out the best in his system. But my point to you is that it was quite clear from Arsenal fans that we could see that okay, there's an identity, there's a way that we want to play. Yes, there were a few games whereby we felt that Ateta was stifling the team, but all he was trying to do was to avoid those embarrassing defeats. And another thing we could see was that the players really believed in Ateta. There were never rumors
Honestly, you
that
could see
players did
progress.
not.
That's why I asked. I could definitely see progress when, after the first season, I started telling people like Arsenal are getting better. I'm like, you guys are not seeing what's happening in Arsenal. And
Mm,
honestly, with me, I'm not. It's not like I'm trying to brag or anything. These things come easy for me to see. I'm not sure
yeah.
how. I'm not sure why. They come very easy
Mm,
for me to see.
mm,
Straight up, I could see that Arsenal are only going to get better. They're starting to play fluid football. You could just see, yes, they are losing games, but you could see that
mm.
these players want to play, just like you've mentioned. But with United is different. Anyways, what do you think next for Amorim? Do you think is is the end of the road now, or do you think he can? Because I don't think he's going to change. He's always said he's not going to change. What do you think is next? Because for me, honestly, Barry, I think is the end of the road.
I do believe the same thing, and if he's insistent of playing this system and there is no improvements, there's no visible improvement in terms of the final product in the last quarter of the pitch, and if there's no proper game management, he's going to get sacked. And already, rumor has it that he might be sacked at the next international window in October. So it might even be sooner than later. I do think something will be done. I really want to know how Fergie feels, because things have not really been the same since he left.
Yeah.
I really want to know how he feels, especially with Amorim, because I mean Amorim, sometime last month was in an interview was saying that he's got a good relationship with Fergie, and they've had breakfast once or twice, and he wants to invite him over for his home cooking Portuguese meals and all of that. But hey, I wonder if Fergie is telling him the truth.
Yeah.
But then again, I believe Fergie would want to give him that respect in the sense that,
of course, and not get involved.
Young manager,
Yeah.
this is a young manager that he's won it in Portugal, and he needs time. And then again, when you consider how the club have backed Amorim, especially in this transfer window, but to still see the way things are, is quite worrisome. But one final thing is the fact that, for me, honestly, the game against Arsenal, there were a lot of positives.
Yeah.
The final product was the problem, and I feel they were unlucky. The game against Burnley as well, even though United won that game, I watched it fully, and I felt that United were simply unlucky.
Yeah.
I feel in football sometimes you need that element of luck. And
Yes,
for
you
me,
do.
in that game against Burnley, United were unlucky. Against Manchester City in the first half, for me, I don't know about you, but United wasn't bad in the first half.
Yeah, against Manchester City. Yeah, we were in the first 20 minutes. It was full of energy.
It was full of energy, but I do think that Dasuki is down to the system, because the truth was that those players were not just able to maintain that level, that intensity with that formation.
Yeah,
that's just the truth. You mentioned something about Lenny Yoro. He's got so much quality, so obvious to see, but it's quite clear that he will be much better in a two CD pairing.
Yeah.
So even despite the players that have been bought, I honestly do still think that United are probably much better playing with four at the back and two CDs.
Most definitely. With the games that we've played this season, after the Arsenal game, there was positive, but the positive wasn't really, for me, it wasn't the quality. It was just intensity, and they were willing to run. That was what everyone was saying. They were running. But when it gets to minutes 60 and 70, when you've dropped in energy, I know you have 5 substitutes, but your key players, you still want them on the pitch, and then they're tired. At that point, it's now the quality that they will have to show, because by then you're tired. When Rooney said from minute 75, that is when the fatigue creeps in. And a lot of the times in these big games, that is the time the game is being won, from minute 75 to 90. And these times, unless you have a very good bench that you can bring in fresh legs and then they can come and win the game for you. If not, you have to depend on your key players, even if they're tired, to now use their heads and use their quality. United will lack that. If our players are not using force, we're not going back and forth like a ping pong. When you're not saying play good football and open up plays, is nearly impossible. But the thing is, I understand we don't have the best players in terms of technical wise, but Amorim is not getting the best out of these guys with what they can do. They are not that bad. Even if these players cannot get top 4, because at the moment, Liverpool, Arsenal, Man City, Chelsea, I think they're ahead of us. At least 5th and 6th. But it's not even looking like that. It's not even 5th and 6th is looking like a reach. The likes of Newcastle and Tottenham, they are way ahead of us. But man for man, player for player, I don't think Tottenham have better players than United.
True.
And I don't think Newcastle, at the moment, they've lost Isak. I don't think Newcastle have a better player than United, have better players.
True.
But they just have better managers. So that is where the problem. That is why look, Barry, honestly, I'm the last person that will criticize a manager. I'm the last. I'm always on players. I'm always on. I feel like the manager is not the person that will play the ball.
Yeah.
He's not the guy that will pass. He's not the guy that is thinking. So that's I don't really care about managers a lot. Just put these players in their right positions. So Alex will sit down the whole game. The only time he stands up is when someone has gone and done something out of
Absolutely stupid. Yeah.
That is when he will get up of his seat and go. And Amorim is on the touchline from beginning to end. You are trying to overcomplicate things. Against Grimsby, you are bringing out your board. If you're beating United, Grimsby is beating United 2-0, Sir Alex, he will even leave he will go up and go and sit down.
Yeah. Allow the likes of Mike Phelan and
let the players
coach, let
Giggs, you're on this pitch, Paul Scholes, you're on this pitch and you're losing to this guy. You expect me to go and bring tactical board for you. We'll meet in training. He will go and sit down. He won't say anything. But you're now there, you're now penalty. So the whole pattern of management for me is off. And that's why I don't think I remember last season when we had, I think, one of the Amorim episode. I mean, I told you guys, I said if he's here October this season, I would be surprised. I would be surprised. And here we are. I don't think he will make it past the international break because we are not winning Chelsea. We are not winning Chelsea at Old Trafford. We are not winning Brentford away. I think that is where he ran out of luck. After all this, he now had games that are quite dicey and you cannot really predict them. If we're playing maybe Brighton at home, then that would be good. But the first game after all of this is Chelsea at home. You're not winning. Brentford away, you're not winning. So imagine we lose to Chelsea at home. We draw Brentford away. That's massive pressure, Barry.
Yeah.
And then we have Sunderland at home. So with the pressure that has built from Chelsea and Brentford, then you now by mistake lose to Sunderland and in Old Trafford or draw. Or even if you win, but you do not play well, he's gone. And that's what I think will happen.
Yeah, and then the ironic thing for me is that with those run of games, I feel United actually lose to Sunderland because Sunderland is such a high pressing team that they create a lot and they have attackers that are always willing to finish one way or the other. And if I'm being honest, okay, United losing to Arsenal is understandable. But then I expected them to have picked up 4 points against Fulham, and I think they lost against Fulham. If I'm not mistaken.
No, it was a draw.
Was it a draw against Fulham?
Yeah.
Okay, it was a draw. I expected 3 points against Fulham. Fine, good enough. They got 3 points against Burnley, which was expected. And then now for the Manchester derby, the truth is that before Amorim, whenever it comes to the Manchester derby, form is taken out of the window. And if we're also being honest, it's not like City have been particularly fantastic throughout this season.
5 games.
Look at how injury ravaged they are, but they were still able to show quality. I think City showed quality against United. They showed that look, we've still got what it takes, at the end of the day. So yes, the fact that United have not been able to make the most out of these first 4 fixtures, it's a clear problem. And just like you mentioned, Brentford away is tough. We see how Chelsea struggled. Sunderland is a game I think United will lose. That's just the truth. And obviously with Chelsea as well, you do expect Chelsea with their quality to be able to defeat United. But hey, let's not forget that United-Chelsea is another game that we do expect that form should be taken out of the window. And it should be based on what happens on the pitch because United and Chelsea are top rivals. But obviously, judging by what happened with the Manchester derby, Chelsea might just be defeating you. Just like you said as well, for me, for now, it's quite difficult to see Amorim being at United past October.
Yeah, and with the Chelsea game, Chelsea will be playing Champions League, I think, on Thursday. I don't know if their game is tomorrow or Thursday. I think it's Thursday. Then you don't have an excuse. You have the whole week to rest. This team have gone to play an away game in Europe,
Mm.
you're more fresh than them. But I can assure you that it still won't show. It still won't show you. It's still just going to be the old United. But again, the next manager that comes into Manchester United, there's just one thing I would really want that manager to do. Just get rid of Bruno. Just get rid of Bruno Fernandes. He's a good player. He's El Magnifico. He's our best player. Everything that they say, cool, quite all right, but he just needs to go. Because right now, I think he's now
Well,
people are trying to start to see.
Yeah, but then again, I hope the next manager will have the cojones to be able to ship him out.
Yeah,
that's just it, you know. And I think it's only an established manager that can do that. Probably someone like a Mourinho. That can possibly do that. I mean, Gareth Southgate, I expect him to be able to stamp his authority as well.
Of course, when the first thing, you know, Amorim, and I don't understand this is dress code. It's nice, is for we the young guys, but you know when Gareth Southgate is coming to that dressing room, you know them Paul Smith suits.
Of course,
them ones. When he speaks to you, you will listen.
Yeah,
he's not wearing any of these sneakers, any of these. He's not wearing all of those. He's coming sharp for work.
And that is sorry. Gareth
Southgate's pattern. The way he will address the dressing room, you yourself, you know that you are playing for a king. You are playing for royalty. You pattern up.
Very true.
That is why I've always wanted Southgate. That's why I've always wanted him. But if we get him fine, I'll be happy. If we don't, any of the names that I've seen, I'm happy with any of them, to be honest. You know, the Champions League, what a win. What a win. Away to Bilbao. Good game. I watched some part of it. It was typical Arsenal. I think you've got the best defense in the world right now, if you ask me. I think so. I honestly think so. But you might think, well, what other team can? You've kept how many clean sheets now this season? A couple.
This season there was a clean sheet against Leeds. Clean sheet against United. Clean sheet against Leeds.
Your last game
against Nottingham Forest, clean sheets against Bilbao today.
So out of your 6 games, you probably have 4 clean sheets. That is massive. 4. You know,
I think that's good. I think that's very impressive. The game against Liverpool gave goals, and I'm trying to remember.
No, it was 1-0. The game against Liverpool, it was a free kick. It was a free kick,
which was inevitable. So, it was just a moment of quality. You are right. I think on paper, Arsenal do have the best defense. The reason why I took a moment to pause when you said that is because, you know, in football, we always see that the best defense always wins you the tournament, always wins you the trophies. And I'm just thinking to myself, oh, Arsenal came up short last season, you know, and didn't win anything. But, I mean, we saw how well they did last season, getting all the way to the Champions League semi-final. And then I think the problem for Arsenal last season was the draws. And I believe the reason why they had a lot of draws was because they didn't have enough dynamism in the team. And I think now they have that with Noni, Madueke and Eberichi Eze. I think they've got dynamism in the team because the game against Bilbao was very difficult. And I think Arteta has learned that certain games require certain players. And I do think that the players that ended the game should have started the game. I'm not saying this because they won. I'm saying this because of the impact and the way those goals were scored. You know, for Bilbao, they were going to frustrate Arsenal with 1v1 marking, and they were going to be very aggressive, which they were, making things difficult for players like Eze and Merino to possibly make things happen. Even though Madueke had a very, very good game, I think they also made things difficult for him. So just look at what happened once Trossard and Martinelli came in. One-touch football, but hey, how did we score the goals? On transition. The difference between Eze and Martinelli is the pauser. You know Martinelli is not going to pause. He's just going to keep going.
Just gonna,
Eze has the pauser. Trossard, one-touch football. He's not going to hold up like Gyökeres, you know. But then again, I think Gyökeres coming off in the 63rd minute was more precautionary, you know, because of the game against Manchester City at the weekend. But hey,
had a head injury, so you just need to.
Yeah, Yeah,
Yeah.
they were able to win the game. And imagine your Gyökeres coming off and then it's Trossard coming in. A lot of Arsenal fans were wondering what kind of
How?
decision is that. Obviously, considering the fact that Kai Havertz is not available, I think a lot
Yeah.
of Arsenal fans would have preferred to see Mikel Merino up front, the way we saw
It
him up
happened
front
Yeah.
last season. But hey, that's the thing. If it's Merino as well, Merino is going to do hold up play. He's not going to pass the ball immediately like a Trossard would.
Yeah.
And let's talk about the defensive depth of Arsenal. It is scary for opponents. Look,
I know.
there's no Saliba. Mind you, Saliba trained the day before the game against Nottingham Forest. And they asked him, Ateta said he asked him, are you ready for tomorrow? He said, boss, I think I need more time. I am okay, but I need more time. Saliba could afford to say that this season because he knew
Yeah.
that
Because
Mosquera is
there's
dependable.
yeah.
When it was Rob Holding,
It
that
was
was the
12
backup,
million. What
bro.
still, by the way?
Saliba will play till. Do you understand? Ridiculous.
How did you get Mosquera for 12
and the reason
million?
why Arsenal were able to get is just this simple. We're able to get him for that price because he refused to sign a contract extension at Valencia.
Wow.
He said he didn't want to stay an extra season and said he
Yeah.
wanted to go now. And I'm really, really wondering what Ateta and Beta told this guy. He's 21 years old. He could see the competition ahead of him. He saw Gabriel, he saw Saliba. He must have seen the way Kivio was very, very good for us when Gabriel was injured last season. And he still said, I want to come. Jurgen Timber has played centre back for us before. Ben White has played centre back for us before. This boy said, I want to
There
come.
are options.
And he has shown that, look, he's up there. The quality is there. And his decision making is fantastic.
He's such a good player.
Football IQ. But most importantly, he's a good defender.
Yes.
And then there's time for him to improve. There's time for him to improve. And Gabriel as well has improved immensely. He has always been a good player for us, but I see the season in, season out development. One issue that Gabriel had when he initially joined Arsenal was the rash decisions. It seemed like it was always misplaced passion, but now he has learned how to control his emotions and he's making the right decisions at the right time. And
when he came to Arsenal, was he married? Was he married when he came to Arsenal? He
got married. Yeah. He's always I'm telling you, we can see it.
The marriage thing works. It works.
Towards the end of 2023.
That's it. Trust me, if you go back, you will see the difference. I can assure you.
Yes. There's always a huge difference. Take a look at Ousmane Dembele. After he got married, his luck turned around. He stopped being less injury prone, and his game went up. So if you're a young man and you're listening out there, marry wisely. But then again, I think the player improvement as well at Arsenal has been major. Jurgen Timber has been a rock for me. I think Timber arguably or debatably has to be probably the best right back in the English Premier League. Maybe not the best right back in the world, but right now, I think Timber is the best right back in the Premier League. Considering the fact that he was busy. First of all, his recovery from that ACL injury was faster than what everybody thought. He still, yes, he missed the huge chunk of that season, but he still came back and he played He played 2-3 games towards the end of the season. His following season, which was last season, absolutely amazing. He played some games while injured, And speaking about playing games while injured, I believe Arteta has now learned from his mistakes in the past in terms of running down players. Look, and now Arsenal is suffering that. Look at Bukayo Saka now. He's currently out injured again. Odegaard currently out injured again. Saliba currently injured.
And I think those were the players that have really... The problem must have played more games for Arteta than any other player.
Yes, those three players are part of the spine of Arsenal. And for Saka and Odegaard in particular, they've played so many games whereby you know that they're carrying an injury or they are in pain. They're just playing through. Aside these three players I've mentioned, Ben White is another player that is currently suffering. Ben White played that season when Timber was out with the ACL, talking about the 2023-24 season.
Yeah, 2 seasons ago.
Ben White played 35 games with an injury. he was taking injections before and after every game.
That's
Now
smart.
we're facing the repercussions for it.
Mm.
But thankfully, there's Mosquera. Mosquera can play as a right back as well. We've seen that
Yeah,
from him as well. He can play as a right back. Now they got Hincapi as well. You know, Hincapi, like Calafiori, is solid. Both players
yeah.
can play as a left back and
Centre
um,
back.
centre back. And immediately Atata clocked that this game against Bilbao is not for controllers. We can't control this game. We need to hit them with it. Luis Kelly and Waneri did not play. Same with Dauman because that is not the game for them.
For them, yeah.
I felt that in this type of game, Eze should have played centrally if he was not going to
Mm.
play. It should have been
One year.
centrally or not. So take a look at what happened now. He brings in Trossard, brings in Martinelli. It's a game
Whole game
changer.
change.
So
Yeah,
Ateta as well, let's not forget that this is his first job. So he's learning every day.
yeah,
And the
absolutely. Yeah.
investment that they've made in these players that they've signed, absolutely fantastic. It's been a
Mm.
brilliant transfer window for Arsenal. And
He
like
has. He
every other
has.
Arsenal fan would say, like every other critic would say, if Arsenal does not win a major trophy this season, it is solely on Mikel Arteta.
Yeah,
Because
but you
we
still
played
like you said, you still need a bit of luck. You know, that's how football is.
the
You
element of luck is
still
needed,
need that.
quite all right.
Yeah.
But that's okay. Do your job first.
Mm.
Die on the
Yeah.
pitch first and let that element of luck still come in to
Meet you.
help you. Because
Mm.
now, because of the investments in depth for the team, we've
Yeah.
lost in this first couple of months. This is the second month of the season, right? Or
Yeah.
we can still say first month. First month and a
Yeah.
couple of days since we're in
Mm.
September. Arsenal have lost Kai Havertz. Arsenal have lost Martin Odegaard. Arsenal have lost Bukayo Saka. Arsenal have lost Saliba. Nugget was injured at the point in time as well.
Yeah.
5 players. Now,
To
4
injury.
out of these players were key players. You could say that these players are the spine of Arsenal.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
irrespective of that, they've been successful. The only loss has been to Liverpool, and it was the moment of quality that got Liverpool that win. So the difference is clear when you invest the right way. So
Mm.
that's once again for me. That's okay. There's no excuse if Arsenal is not winning a major trophy this season. If they fail
Mm.
to win a major trophy this season, they should be getting one of those cups. Come on,
Yeah. Yeah.
an
Yeah.
FA Cup, Carabao
Yeah, he
Cup,
needs at
they should be
least, yeah,
getting one
because
of those.
there's squad depth actually, and I think also Arsenal fans, you might have to start drafting your apology letter towards Madueke. Not just
Yeah,
Arsenal fans, I think the whole world of football. You know,
yeah.
he's not as bad as we thought. He's not as bad as we thought, and I think
So okay,
some
go on.
Chelsea fans are saying that that's his game. That the
Mm,
problem was actually end product. He could beat a
mm,
man. He could carry.
mm.
He could all he's doing in Arsenal now. He was doing them in Chelsea. It was just the end product. So maybe it's a change. Sometimes a change of scenery, a new environment can just clear a player's head, and then they start to think better, or he just feels fresh, you know. Or maybe
Mm.
he just enjoys being in a red kit. That one still join, you know.
Then
So you
again,
never
because
know.
he broke out with PSV, but then
Hmm.
again, I think at Chelsea, um, I'm not going to blame Enzo Maresca. I'm not going to say that maybe he doesn't know how to develop players because I think Maresca had a fantastic time at Leicester City with a good number of young players, right? And was able to
Mm,
bring the best out of them. However,
mm,
I think that for Madueke at Chelsea, while he was at Chelsea, he was in an environment whereby there were so many young players. We knew that Chelsea was growing, and
mm.
I think Madueke felt that I can be one of the main men in this Chelsea team. And I think that affected his decision making because the difference that I see here at Arsenal is that he came to Arsenal knowing that he most likely would play second fiddle to Bukayo Saka.
Yeah,
But he still decided to come. That's the first thing, meaning that he's got a strong mentality and he believes in himself. He believes that he's got what it takes. And we can see that already. He's got the quality, he's got the speed, he's got the power, he's got the skill. The skill set is there. And the
yeah,
difference between Madueke at Chelsea and Madueke at Arsenal is that he knows what to do and he knows what he's doing. His head is clear. When he's making crosses, he knows this is the right time to make a cross. When he's dribbling, he knows this is the right time to dribble. If it's to pass with the right leg, he knows when to pass with the right leg. If it's to pass with the left, he knows when to pass with the left. The 20% that is still missing for me is still that top quality in the end product. So I'm saying
yeah,
top quality in the end product of the crossing, top quality
I
in the end
agree.
product of the shooting as well. That's
Mm,
just the difference. However,
mm.
in terms of all-round gameplay, he's doing
It's
very
been
well.
okay.
His numbers at Arsenal much better than he was at Chelsea. But let me
Mm.
now tell you something funny. Considering his time at Chelsea, now that he's at Arsenal, do you know that since the 2020-21 season, Madueke has the highest amount of take-ons of any Chelsea player since that year?
Oh wow. Mm. So we haven't really been watching him. We're just going with the narrative of he's not a good player, this and this,
Exactly.
that and that.
There's been a lot of criticism on Madueke, and I think what made things worse for him was that penalty row with Cole Palmer, Nicholas
Oh right,
Jackson.
yes, yes, yes.
I think he got a lot of bad publicity for it, and
That's yeah.
yeah,
You see with footballers, right? You just have to look at their story. There's always a point where something changed. There's always a
mm,
point. It might have
yeah,
been that, you know.
yeah, exactly. And I
Mm.
think he also realized that I think he had fallen out of favor with the manager. His name has skipped my mind now. Enzo Maresca. Yeah, I
Yeah.
think he fell out of favor with Maresca, and he realized that he was quickly going to be playing second fiddle to Estevao. He was going to be playing second fiddle to either Estevao, Cole Palmer,
I wouldn't blame
or
Maresca
Neto.
though. Estevao is a baller.
Yeah, yeah,
He's a
yeah, yeah.
baller.
Rightly so. Rightly
Yeah.
so. You know,
Yeah.
Estevao is a very good player, and I mean, Chelsea still went ahead to invest in Jamie Bino Gittins. So
Couple of
Madueke
wingers.
knew that, okay, I'm going to be
Yeah.
playing second fiddle. It's a Champions League year. I'm rather it's a World Cup year. I don't want to permanently remain on the bench. At least at Arsenal, because it's my first season, I will be
At least you
guaranteed a
have
number
games.
of games.
Yeah.
You get it. So Madueke as well made a
Because it wasn't cheap. Or what?
calculated move.
60, 50, 50
I think
million, was it?
the deal. So with the initial deal is 50 million pounds, but with
Yeah.
the add-ons, and I do believe those
Yes,
add-ons will
up
be
to
met.
60.
I actually do believe the add-ons will be met. It's going to
Yeah.
amount to 53 million pounds.
Yeah, that's so with that amount spent, he's definitely going to play.
Yeah,
You don't
definitely.
spend
And
that
then
money and just
that's
sit on the
okay.
bench.
Let's also consider the options that Arsenal could have gone for instead of Madueke. There was a Brandon Mbeumo who's not going to agree to play second fiddle to Saka after the
No
fantastic
chance.
season he had. There was a Mo Kudus who
Yeah.
was looking forward to playing in his preferred position, but also being a World Cup year for him, he's not going to agree
Well,
to play second fiddle, to Saka. So outside those two who are quality, the next for me was going to be Madueke. After Madueke, for me, in terms of top five right wingers in the Premier League, is Gerard Bowen. Gerard Bowen does not really suit Arsenal's system, and he loves to play inside a lot.
inside, yeah, a lot,
So
yeah.
Arsenal had no choice but to go for Noni Madueke, and it's
Bowen
looking
is
like
like
so far
Trossard.
so
If you're
good.
getting Bowen, you're literally just getting another Trossard,
Exactly,
and you want
exactly. And
variety.
let's not forget the way Ateta likes his wingers to work hard. Because I'm seeing Eze work hard. I'm seeing
Yeah,
Eze
yeah,
work
of
hard
course.
play on that left wing. So it is what it is. I think Arsenal at the end of the day made the right decision, and everybody
Yeah.
has to say hands up. we got
My
it all
bad.
wrong.
But it's not end of the season yet. Let's wait and see. In head, if you just switch, you will go back to in Chelsea
Hopefully not.
Madueke.
Hopefully not.
So
And you know the funny thing, Madueke coming to us now. A lot of Chelsea fans were saying, "Oh, we're getting a thug.
yes,
We're
yes,
getting one of the mandem."
yeah.
After the game against Nottingham Forest, this brother makes a post and he's quoting the Bible.
Yeah, honestly, you know what? Yeah, honestly, I think we've all had the wrong idea about this guy. I think
Yeah,
so. Honestly,
yeah,
even myself, I
yeah.
raised my hands up. Honestly, I
Mm,
might have.
mm,
I think I've
mm,
had the wrong idea about his personality, his because I've seen him. I watched him live, and I wasn't really impressed. But
mm.
that was the later stages of him being at Chelsea, where things
Yeah,
weren't working out. Thinking,
and
I
he
don't want to.
probably
And
wasn't happy to be there either.
it's like
You
he didn't
know.
seem happy at all. He did not seem happy. He wasn't. He's smiling now. He's enjoying
Mm.
his football in Chelsea. All these things matter. Anyways, the Champions League quickly to end this episode, Barry. Who do you think wins the Champions League?
Yo,
It's too
that's a
early.
very tough question. That's a very tough question.
AI say
Can I give you
AI
three
is rating
options?
Liverpool. I think it's
Yeah,
Liverpool,
but
Arsenal, Real Madrid, Barcelona,
hmm,
PSG, even Newcastle. I think Newcastle is seventh. They still have Newcastle in there, a couple of percentage for them.
So if I'm judging by the league phase, if I'm judging by the games that the big boys have to play, I actually think that Arsenal has the easiest run of games in this league phase. The
But it
biggest
doesn't,
things that Arsenal have to play
phase doesn't really matter.
are
It doesn't really matter because we've seen how PSG, how Liverpool topped the group and had to play PSG. So I'm not too interested in the league phase.
Then again, I think last season some expected teams that would always be in the knockout stages did not get to the knockout stage because of the tough games that they faced during the league phase. So I'm saying this because I believe the run of matches in the league phase can affect a team's form in the Champions League.
True.
It's not that
leading towards the knockout stages, right?
Exactly. So amongst all the big teams that you mentioned, I actually do think Arsenal has the easiest games in the group phase. The two biggest teams that Arsenal have to face, all due respect to the others, is Bayern Munich and Atletico Madrid. And Atletico, with this new system under Simeone, they're not really at 100% yet.
Haven't seen any of the games, but things are not.
It's not really working fluidly yet for them. So there's still one or two things. Bayern is a team to watch out for. Bayern looks hungry under Vincent Kompany. They've lost Jamal Musiala for the better part of the season, but it seems like Serge Gnabry has found form again. He has found himself
Luis Diaz as well is doing his thing.
Luis Diaz has a point to prove. Olise is cold. That boy is cold. He's cold.
He is actually.
He's really, really cold. And they've got decent depth because now Kimmich is allowed to play midfield in that right back position. They've got Stanisic is even injured, but they've got Sasha Bowie. They've got Konrad Laimer, who's playing there now. Even with Alphonso Davies just recovering at the left back position, they've got Rafael Guerrero that they bought from Dortmund 2 seasons ago. So they've got quality and they've got a couple of young players that Kompany has incorporated into the team that are playing well. And now, unlike last season, they've got a deputy for Harry Kane, who is Nicholas Jackson, a hungry Nicholas Jackson with a point to prove to all his critics. So Bayern is a team to watch out for in the Champions League as well. I think I would stick my neck out for Bayern. I'll stick my neck out for Barcelona. Obviously, I think by now Real Madrid are always going to be favorites. So for me, aside Real Madrid, it's going to be Bayern, it's going to be Barcelona, it's going to be Liverpool, and it's going to be Arsenal. I don't think Inter would be as good as the last season.
PSG?
Yeah, PSG obviously, yes. PSG obviously, they deserve to be in there. But, it's rare that you see the Champions League retained. Yeah, so that's why I didn't call PSG. I just feel like you'll have some sort of bad luck and you get knocked out. But for me, aside Real Madrid, it has to be Bayern, Barcelona, Liverpool, Arsenal.
Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you very much for coming on, Barry. And hopefully next week we'll find a time for another solid episode of Pitchside Nuggets. Guys, we'll be giving you this at least 2 episodes a month. If we have the opportunity to do more, we'll give you more. And don't forget to like, share, and subscribe. Catch you later.